Hello guys, Crudless here, and finally we are ready to decide on which characters we are going to bring into the next zones in World of Warcraft Leveling Legacy. So we are done with all the different classes for the Cataclysm expansion. Noticeably gone are the Pandaren and the Death Knights, which we'll get into later on. But we have already leveled up the main 12 races, I believe, in the different classes that we have available. A couple of them are duplicates, but we are going to select, or you are going to select in this episode, which ones we are going to continue off with. So how are we going to choose which characters we are going to level up with, and where are we going to level them up? Well, I have decided to basically let you guys decide on which characters we are going to continue off with. The most popular will be the one we choose, but I have segmented them into different routes depending on, well, how the characters and the races basically fit the lore of the different areas. And also I have kind of decided to do this because the limitations of the voting system that we are going to use. So there is an icon up here on the rightmost top of the screen on YouTube that you'll be able to click, and then you'll be able to vote for I'm just going to leave this video here I guess a couple of weeks, and then I'm going to check the results, and then you will have chosen, and I will block the results from then on. So I will basically select 3 routes for the Alliance and the Horde. And for each of these, 2 routes for the Alliance and 2 for the Horde. The reason I'm doing this is because there are 2 continents. We have Kalimdor and we have the Eastern Kingdoms for the quest lines for the Cataclysm. And of course, there are Horde and Alliance quests in both areas. But there are also some duplicate areas like Ferlos and Dustwallow Marsh, for example, and also the Northern Barrens and Ajara that basically overlap. So there will be a 3rd route for Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdom as well. So there will be a vote for Route 1, which will be basically Kalimdor 1, a route taking you from different zones in here that I'll show you eventually. And there will be Route 2 for Kalimdor, which is the Alliance quests in Kalimdor. Then we have the Route, I guess, 3, which will be Alliance Eastern Kingdoms, and we have Route 4, which will be Eastern Kingdoms for the Horde. Then we have a Route 5 and 6, which will be basically leftover areas. And the way we're going to vote now is that there will be voting for 3 characters for Route 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the leftovers from those routes will be used for the remaining zones. Don't worry if you didn't get that, because I'm terrible at explaining things, but you'll probably get it once we get to explaining which characters we're going to choose. So Route 1, first of all, is starting in Ajara. We'll go to Ashenvale, we'll go to Stone Talon Mountains, we'll go down into the Northern Barrens. No, not the Northern Barrens. We'll go to Desolus, and then we'll go down to Ferlos, we'll go to Thousand Needles, and then we'll jump up here to Felwood, and go to Winterspring and finish off things in Silithus. That'll basically finish off this entire continent for the Horde, which is Route 1. So are you guys ready to vote? Make sure to click this icon here and select between these 3 characters. You can choose between Rezock, the Goblin Rogue. We'll be playing as an assassination spec with this guy primarily, and then we'll be able to basically select dual spec once we reach level 30, I think. You can choose between Rezock or Dreamstrider, which is the Tauren Druid. He'll be a balanced spec Druid starting off, but then we'll be able to choose between going into a feral mode as well. If you want him, vote for him. You can also choose Viletusk, the Troll Warrior, and he will be a badass Rastafari. By the way, since he's level 6, I will level him up to level 11 like these 2 guys, and then they'll be at the same point. I'll do that to all characters in off-screen, basically. So, have you decided which one of these guys you will keep for Route 1? Remember, the ones with the second to most votes will be taken on a separate route as well, a bonus round, if you will. Now, Route 2 will be for the Alliance in Kalimdor. We'll be going from Darkshore to Ashenvale to Stone Talon Mountains, down to Desolus, down to Ferlos, Thousand Needles. Then we'll be jumping up to Felwood again, Winterspring, and Silithus. Yeah, basically the same routes, swapping off Darkshore with Ajara for the Alliance. For this route, you'll be selecting the guys that we finished off in, basically up in Darnassus. You can choose between Summersby, our trusted Worgen hunter, and his dog. You can choose Summersong, the Night Elf hunter, with the Frost Saber pet. By the way, since these are duplicates, I select them in the same category because I don't really want to have two characters of the same, basically same class leveling up, but you will decide if we are going to keep one of them as a bonus. And the last character is Vadina, the Draenei priest. Yes, and she'll be leveled up to level 12 or 13 like these guys as well. So you can choose between these three guys, and yeah, that's for Route 2 for Kalimdor Alliance. Route 3 is for the Horde on the Eastern Kingdoms. Starting off in Silver Pine Forest, right up here, and then we'll go down to Hillsbrad Foothills. We'll move on to the Arathi Highlands down here, up into the Hinterlands, Western Plaguelands, Eastern Plaguelands. Then we'll move down to the Badlands and the Searing Gorge. Then we'll move on to the Burning Steppes, Swamp of Sorrows down here, and then we'll go to the Blasted Lands. For this route, you'll be able to choose between Throx, the Orc Shaman that we started out with right here. You can select Atharia, the Blood Elf Mage. Or you can select Argonus, the level 12 Warlock from Tirisfal Glades. And lastly, Route 4 for the Alliance in the Eastern Kingdoms, starting out in Westfall, moving down into the Red Ridge Mountains, further into Duskwood, Northern Stranglethorn, the Cape of Stranglethorn down here. Then we'll move up to the Western Plaguelands, the Eastern Plaguelands. Then we go to the Badlands, Searing Gorge, and the Burning Steppes, and the Swamp of Sorrows, and the Blasted Lands. Similar route to the previous one for the Horde. For this route, you can select Ardoran, the level 11 Paladin for the humans. You can select Twinklebling, the Gnome Mage. Hello! Or you can select Thunderhand, the Dwarven Warrior. If you pick, or if we pick both Thunderhand and Viletusk, both warriors, then I will basically change the class into something else for number 2 of those. Which one gets the least votes of either of them? So, did you get to pick which characters you'd like to see leveled up a bit more? Well, if you did, or if you haven't already, if you did, you're awesome, by the way. Thank you for voting, and if you watch this video in like a later time, then yeah, that's you contributed with a good viewership, either way. If you haven't voted already, then you'll be able to click the icon up there throughout the entire video, as I'll be kind of talking about my thoughts about how this will continue going. Because we've finished off the starting zones, we've already made quite a lot of progress, actually. Finished off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a lot of zones, basically. And leveled up a lot of guys already up to level 11. Or about 11, 10 to 12, 13. So yeah, you can continue to vote throughout the entire video. But I want to talk about, as I said, explaining a couple of things that might be confusing, or things I haven't covered already in the video, or in the series in general at least. So yeah, I started off the video, or the series, with the intention of doing all the quests. And I kind of started out by explaining the different, like the following orders for the expansion packs, and kind of figured that we would be focusing on the Cataclysm, as this is like the where people start off and where the quests were revamped for leveling. Still, Blizzard isn't, well, Blizzard, they are not they're not really happy about how quests work currently. Leveling, they think it needs a lot of fixing at the moment, as they've implemented several hotfixes during the springtime, back in April, or was it May? I think it was May. And they've made a lot of changes as well to how things work. Why am I just running in circles? No idea. Making it a bit harder to level up as well. And I think that's a great idea, but yeah, I wanted to focus on Cataclysm, as if they are going to revamp the quests, then this will be a way to preserve that. We'll be able to go back here and watch these as a sort of a leveling legacy, if you will. Basically, I wanted to preserve this state of the game, as it will once in the future, everything will disappear, of course, when the servers are shut down or when the quests are revamped into something else. Very much like what happened with the vanilla servers. So I want to preserve that until the future. Into the future! Yeah. So there is a couple of zones left, as I said. The votes that you'll basically contribute with, the characters with the second most votes out of all the Horde and all of the Alliance will be selected for a Route 3. Now, the Route 3 will be basically Northern Barrens, it will be the Southern Barrens, Dustwallow Marsh, and it will be Tanaris and Ungoro Crater. I'll also level that character up to max level, being 60 for Cataclysm, and or for Cataclysm main quests in these areas, not like the real content of Cataclysm. And for the Alliance, for the Eastern Kingdoms, the zones for the Horde will be Northern Stranglethorn and the Cape of Stranglethorn for the third route. So we'll be going to the Northern Barrens. You go to Stranglethorn, then we'll go back here to Southern Barrens and the Dustwallow Marsh, basically. For the Alliance, we'll be doing Loch Modan, we'll be doing Wetlands, Arathi Highlands, the Hinterlands, and we'll be doing Southern Barrens over here, Dustwallow Marsh, and we'll be doing Tanaris and Ungoro Crater for the Alliance as well. Just to make sure we cover everything, because that's what I want to do. So you might wonder what we will do afterwards. When we reach level 60, you'll basically be finishing up in either Asilithus or in the Blasted Lands, queuing you into the Burning Crusade expansion. Now, I think I'm going to basically level through those off camera, and then we'll continue off directly into the Cataclysm zones of the basically being Deepholm. It'll be Mount Hyjal, and it'll be Uldum, and we also have the Twilight Highlands up here, and we'll have where's the last one? I always forget. Vashir down here in the water. So I'll be doing those immediately after we hit level 60, and then I'll basically make another vote where you select 2 characters, 1 Alliance and 1 Horde, that we'll select for those areas, because they only have 2 versions of them. You don't need that many characters, so we'll be splitting off our group of characters into an even smaller sample size. So what about the Burning Crusade and the Wrath of the Lich King? We will be covering those as well, but those will be, I will go back to those when we are done with the Cataclysm, hopefully. A lot of the quests in the Burning Crusade especially are pretty dull, but we'll have to cover them eventually, and then I'll be covering the the Blood Elf and the Draenei starting zones. I will also cover all the areas in Outland over here. And with the Wrath of the Lich King, I'll be covering the Death Knight starting quests, and then we'll be going with the Death Knight up into Northrend and finish off all the quests there. But that will be for another time, because those really don't fit into the timeline of our current character, or characters, plural. So that will be more like I'm falling down and dying. It'll be more like a Caverns in Time, going back and exploring different lore happenings that happened back in time. So I might do like a special something with that. Yeah. And we also will be leveling at Pandaren, but that will happen when we finish off Cataclysm and going into Pandaria. And we will also be doing a character for Warlords of Draenor. Probably will be doing a Demon Hunter for Legion. Just trying to use different classes and characters and races that fit the lore of the current play style or lore that we're playing through, basically. So I hope you stay tuned for that, as you'll be able to vote for more stuff. And by the way, if you haven't already, click the icon up here on the right side. Thank you so much for sticking by me. I hope you enjoyed the series still, and hope it hasn't gotten stale for you yet. I'll be doing my best to keep things going, and I have no plans of stopping yet. So that's a great idea. Thank you guys for sticking by me, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Yeah, so see you guys then, and we'll be seeing a lot of different dudes. I'll probably make an announcement video, like telling you guys which characters that you chose. But I think you'll be able to see the results basically by watching the polls here up on the right. You can see the current standings for that. But anyway, I've been Crudless and you have been fantastic. Thank you for watching and see you guys next time. Wait, goodbye now. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Look,